Portugal just drew 1-1 with DR Congo.
Neto, great header! That's interesting, whistle!
A team ranked 46th in the world.
I don't think Portugal were great, but I don't think you can take anything away from Congo. I think they're going to be really happy with this performance.
And within minutes, the internet did what it always does. It turned the cameras on Ronaldo. How many touches did he get? How many shots? Is he washed? Is he holding Portugal back?
And it sucks that Cristiano Ronaldo will get the blame of this. Cristiano Ronaldo will get the blame of this and the heat, while the other players are just always left go.
It's the easiest take in football, and it's also the laziest.
And now the media is going to sell you this narrative that Portugal would win the World Cup if Ronaldo didn't play.
Because if you actually watched that game, not just the highlights, not just the heat map, what you saw wasn't a Ronaldo problem, it was a system problem. And that should scare Portugal fans a lot more.
Hey, if Ronaldo didn't play, Portugal would be favorites. Portugal's going to waste a generational midfield. Portugal's going to waste these generational kids, the generational kids that pass side to side 1,000 times a game.
To understand why this draw is genuinely worrying, you need to appreciate what Portugal brought into this tournament. Not hopeful contenders, actual contenders. Joao Neves and Vitinha are two of the best central midfielders in Europe right now, both coming off back-to-back Champions League titles with PSG. Bruno Fernandes just had arguably his best ever Premier League season, breaking records for assists at Manchester United. Then you've got Cancelo, Nuno Mendes, Gonzalo Ramos on the bench, Rafael Leão waiting, Pedro Neto. This isn't a squad that shows up hoping for the best. This is a squad built to win a World Cup. And for the first 20 minutes against DR Congo, you could actually see it. Joao Neves scored in the 6th minute, a header, the smallest man on the pitch getting up above a Congo defender and powering it home. Portugal were moving the ball quickly, combinations were clicking, and the attacking transitions had real purpose and energy. It genuinely looked like a team that was about to take control. Then, somewhere around the 25th minute, something changed.
When Portugal were up by 1-0, when Joao Neves scored a great goal, and Portugal for the first 10 minutes were playing some great football, great brand of football, attacking football, you were pressing, you had numbers in the final third, you had the intent, high intensity, and then from there, everything disappeared from Portugal. After the 10th minute, Portugal decided, you know what, we're winning. What's the point of attacking? You know what, let's just slow the game down.
Congo settled. Portugal slowed. The game started dying in front of you in real time. And the thing is, there wasn't a single moment you could point at. No injury, no tactical disruption, no controversial decision. Portugal just stopped being themselves, and they never came back. By the final whistle, the draw felt deserved. That's the sentence that should stay with you. Against the 46th ranked team in the world, Portugal were lucky to take a point, not unlucky to drop 2, lucky to take 1. So if it wasn't a talent problem, and with that squad it absolutely wasn't, then what was it? That's the question that actually matters here. Let's start with the numbers, because they tell a story that possession stats never will. Portugal ended the game with 75% of the ball and completed over 750 passes.
You look at the stats that they've had from that match, it's 25% possession. It's next to nothing. But then what did Portugal do with the possession they had? And the answer is, again, next to nothing.
By any surface level reading, they dominated. But DR Congo had an XG of 0.87 compared to Portugal's 0.65. Congo had more shots, 8-7, and Congo sprinted 121 times to Portugal's 88. The team with a quarter of the possession was better at generating chances, covering more ground, and creating more danger. That's not a coincidence, that's a tactical consequence.
You gave DR Congo a lot of confidence. You gave DR Congo a lot of hope. You basically said to DR Congo, you know what? We can actually do this. We can actually go in against them. We can actually attack them. And that's what they did. From that moment onwards, after the 20th minute, when they saw you guys playing complacent, timid, slow, build up, they were like, you know what, let's attack them. And that's what they did.
The root cause is straightforward. Portugal had no verticality. None. Their possession was almost entirely recycled horizontally. Ball going side to side across the halfway line and back to the centre-backs, never threatening the space behind Congo's defensive line. Now, Congo played with a back five and squeezed high. They weren't sitting in a deep block. They were inviting Portugal to play in front of them, because they'd already worked out that Portugal had nobody willing to run in behind.
They kept a higher line than we've seen in the World Cup games so far, because they noticed that Portugal weren't really wanting to threaten in behind.
No runners in behind means a high defensive line is a free move. Congo never had to drop, never had to scramble, never had to make uncomfortable decisions under pressure. Everything was always in front of them, and organized defenders who can see everything in front of them are almost impossible to break down with sideways passing.
The best tackle of the day, no question, was Wan-Bissaka.
One of our own.
And the biggest, it wasn't just the tackle, but it was actually the timing of it, because it was 1-0.
The player who suffered the most from this was Bruno Fernandes. Not because he played badly, his positioning and movement were actually good, but because the structure gave him nowhere to operate. Bruno's best football happens between the lines, in the pockets of space that open up when a striker drags a centre-back out of position, or a runner pulls a defensive line deeper. Congo's line never moved because nothing behind them was being threatened, so their midfield sat narrow in front of them. 10 yards gap between the two banks, and Bruno couldn't receive the ball facing forward. Vitinha and Neves had the ball constantly and had nowhere to go with it. They're two of the best passers in Europe, and they spent 90 minutes passing sideways into a wall. Then came the 67th minute. Conceição drives into the box and cuts the ball back. Ronaldo gets there first and shoots, from a worse angle, under pressure, with Bruno Fernandes standing in a cleaner position right behind him. The shot misses. Bruno throws his arms up, and that moment crystallizes the entire problem. Portugal's attacking decisions increasingly root through one question: where is Ronaldo? Not who has the best angle, not who has the momentum, not what the geometry of the situation actually demands. Where is Ronaldo?
So it was shoot, cut back position, flash it across the box right here, in this spot right here where defenders don't want to defend that. Instead, if you go back and watch the play, he literally looks up and goes, where is Ronaldo? And
in a tournament where margins decide everything, that kind of decision-making costs you.
Large parts of the game, it felt like Ronaldo was more important than Portugal. I know it's game one. I know I'm not crazy, but it felt like it was more important to get Ronaldo a goal and more important to feed his ego than it was to make the decisions that was best for Portugal.
Martinez brought Leao on wide late in the second half, which did add pace to the left side, but pace running into the same broken structure isn't a solution. It's just a faster version of the same dead end.
When Rafael Leão got subbed in, did you see him beat people 1v1? Did he dominate? Did he cook people up? Did he take a shot? No.
Deschamps changed his entire shape at halftime against Senegal. Ancelotti ripped up his system 20 minutes into the Brazil game because he'd seen enough. Martinez waited, watched, and hoped Portugal would figure it out on their own. They didn't. Nothing happened. The game ended 1-1, and the problems that caused it were still completely intact.
Portugal that thinks that they are just going to win because they are Portugal and they have Vitinha and they have Bruno Fernandes and they have João Neves and they're just going to beat a team like Congo, and Congo showed them that's not how it works.
Whether Ronaldo debate becomes a distraction, because the real question isn't whether a 41-year-old striker should be starting.
Roberto Martinez has put himself in a difficult situation because regardless of what we say, the big topic of conversation is going to be Ronaldo's performance today, and then how people are going to say they're surprised he wasn't taken off today. So I think that he's in a real difficult position, even looking ahead to the next game now, whether he starts him or brings him on as a sub, use him in that kind of impact.
The real question is whether Roberto Martinez actually has a coherent attacking identity for this squad. And based on what we saw against Congo, the honest answer is no. Think about what this system is asking each player to do. It asks Ronaldo to function as a target man, but he doesn't have the mobility to drag defenders into uncomfortable positions anymore.
10 other players will have to work very hard for Ronaldo, like he always been.
It asks Bruno Fernandes to be the creative engine, but builds no structure that generates space for him to operate in. It asks Neves and Vitinha to control the game from deep, but gives them no forward outlet to release the ball into. Every role is miscast. Every player is being asked to solve a problem the system itself created. And that's not a personnel issue, that's a coaching failure. Martinez has been here before. His Belgium tenure followed the same pattern, almost exactly. The deepest golden generation in Belgian football history. Players who were among the best in the world at their positions. And what did they produce under him? A third-place finish in 2018, built mostly on talent overcoming structure, and a quarter-final exit in 2022 that felt like a team running into sand. Talented squads don't cover for tactical emptiness forever. Eventually, good opposition figures out the system has no answers, and they make you pay. Compare that to what Lionel Scaloni built with Argentina, heading into the 2022 World Cup. Clear positional roles, a midfield designed to protect and transition, Messi operating as a free-roaming number 10 within a structure that didn't depend on him to carry every attack. It just made sure he was in the right place when the attack arrived. Messi was on the axis, not the load-bearing wall, and we saw that again clearly on Argentina's opening game against Algeria.
This Argentina is different, brother. It's not an Argentina where you're going to go, this player, this player, this player, this player. It's an Argentina that believes in Argentina and an Argentina that believes in Messi.
That's the difference. Portugal's system, right now, treats Ronaldo as the load-bearing wall, and when he can't hold the weight, the whole structure sags. So what actually needs to change? 3 things, and they're not complicated. First, Portugal needs a genuine runner threatening depth. Gonçalo Ramos starting up front, or Leao used centrally rather than tucked out wide, forces a back 5 to make decisions it doesn't want to make. It pins at least one centre-back, which opens the pockets Bruno Fernandes lives in. Second, Cancelo and Nuno Mendes need a license to push high at the same time. Right now, they're staggered for safety, which means Congo's wide defenders never had to track 2 threats simultaneously. Push both of them high and the width becomes a genuine weapon. Third, and most uncomfortably for Martinez, he needs to change his shape when a game is dying, not wait for something to shift on its own. The substitutions against Congo added names to the same broken pattern. What it needed was a structural change that made the pattern itself different. Portugal could still go deep in this tournament. The talent is good enough to survive mediocre coaching through the group stage, probably into the knockouts, but at some point they'll face a team that punishes the verticality problem, the way Congo almost did. Except with better forwards, and they won't miss. The question isn't whether Ronaldo starts the next game. The question is whether Martinez is capable of building something that doesn't need a Ronaldo moment to function. Because if the answer is no, this squad, the best Portugal has ever assembled, will go home early again, and the talent will have been wasted by the system around it. DR Congo didn't just earn a point, they exposed a structure that doesn't work. The talent is there, the system isn't. Subscribe and watch the next video. We'll find out whether Martinez responds, or whether Portugal's World Cup ends exactly the way every other one has.